Yes, welcome back to Football Heritage TV. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a Spurs fan. Um, you know what? It's first of all, happy 20, what is it, 23rd? Happy 23rd to you all. Apologies for cancelling the show this morning. I've not been feeling great at all since I landed back from the Dominican. Poor me. And I really struggled to get through yesterday's watch along, if I'm completely honest, and then the Spurs review. Look, listen, welcome to Debate Savva. This is the show where I put the link in the chat and I ask for people to come on and debate me. Again, let's be brutally clear here. I don't want people to come on who agree with me. I don't want this to be a fan call-in show where people just call in and go, yeah, hate Spurs and yeah, Ange's done badly. But these are the things I'm saying. I think Ange has done badly, etc. This is more for people that see one of my opinions and think, I'm going to debate him on that. I think it's good. But again, I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I want people to debate me. So please, please, please have something to debate me on, people. The link is in the chat. It is pinned. Guys and girls, just before we start the show, I mean, it's a really sad time to be a Spurs fan at the moment, isn't it? We've got a lot of people that are pretending that Spurs are going in the right way and that this project and process and is going to bear some fruit. And unfortunately, all the results, the style of play are just absolutely shocking. Yes, we beat Man United in the Cup, but I mean, we're looking at a Man United team here that aren't beating hardly anybody. This is a Man United team that are losing games 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. Other than that, our win was Southampton, who were bottom of the league and sacked their manager a few hours after we beat them. So I'll ask the question to you all: is what are we anymore? What are Spurs? What's the plan? And I don't want all this all negative and positive. I'm asking, what are we? What are Spurs? What are we trying to be? We played the best team in the country yesterday and didn't put up a fight. We didn't make it difficult for Liverpool to come to our ground and win. We said to them, have as much of the football as you want. Have as much space as you want. We're not going to protect the back four. We're not going to sit in. We're not going to be hard to beat. And people are making videos today. People are making videos today saying things like, Spurs showed courage. We were 5-1 down. We were 5-1 down. The reason we got back to 5-3 is Liverpool took their foot off the gas. And if you notice, when it went to 5-3, Liverpool put their foot back on the gas. We've got people saying it showed encouraging signs. We scored 3 past Liverpool. What are we doing here? We've just conceded 6 goals at home. The first time in 27 years. It's the first time in 17 or 18 years, I believe, that we're going to be bottom half at Christmas. What more has to happen for people to realize that this style of football is not attacking and entertaining? It's not fun. It's terrible. And the stats that just keep piling up on this manager, the stats that keep piling up, you know, in the last 3 home games, we've conceded 13 goals and scored 10. This is playground. This is playground. You remember before school started, you and your mates would get to the playground earlier and you'd be like first to 10 and you got 20 minutes and it was just goal, goal, goal. That's what Tottenham are. This isn't a serious football club. This is not a serious manager with a serious plan. And I'm really bored of hearing just give him better players. Do you really want this manager with this style of football to have better players? Because for me, I think he's killing this club. I think he's killing this football club. I'm not saying we're amazing. I'm not saying we've won loads, but we were always we're well established, right? In terms of the Premier League, we're always, for the last 15, 20 years, we've been up in and around 4th, 5th. Yeah. A couple of thirds, a second, getting to finals and stuff. Now I just look at it and go, what is this manager doing? Like, how is anybody that rates this manager? I'm going to call it out. People will hate me for saying this. They don't understand the tactics of football, because there's a difference between being attacking and being gung-ho. And unfortunately, Ange has just turned us into a laughing stock. all my mates have now stopped taking the piss out of me because they're like, "Oh, you lot were at it again," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know, yeah." It's just getting a bit silly. So for anyone that does want to debate me, debate anyone that does want to debate anyone that thinks I've got anything wrong, for example, I'll call somebody out. I saw yesterday on We Are Tottenham TV that some guy phoned up Ben. Some guy called Arsh phoned up Ben and said, "Oh, Savva's been talking about you." So, well, I don't think Savva has. I never talk about Ben and Sim. I like Ben and Sim. I've always gone on their channel. But I'm asking, where are those people? Where are people like Arsh who had a lot to say about me and about Mr. Box Office and about Stell? And he told us all how we're slagging everyone off, and I don't think I've slagged anyone off. He told us all how we're negative and we want Spurs to lose for our agenda. That's always what you hear. When you're right about something, that's what you hear. Your agenda, you want to lose so that you're right. What do you mean? I want to win. I want us to get rid of this manager so we can get better. I don't want to get rid of this manager because I've got an agenda. So please, the link is in the chat. I am going to put it in there again. Let me go over. Tommy, how you doing, bro? Long time no see.
How you doing? Oh, no, obviously you're not doing all right, but how are you personally? Good? Ready for Christmas?
I'm ready for Christmas. Personally, I am good. I just find the fan base of Tottenham Hotspur quite funny. So yeah, it's all good fun.
No, the reason why I wanted to come on today because I've got someone from work that you may know. I actually got someone at work. Do you remember? Is it Football Flapper, Sports Yapper? Is it Sports? Caney.
It rings a bell.
Caney. My mate at work was called you and Savva were like twins because you'd both say the same stuff. Because he went to me because he has Caney, and they used to be like, yeah, you two are the same. They're like, you say the same stuff and everything. Because he's got season ticket at Tottenham now, and obviously I speak to him every day, and he just hates it. Because I tell him, oh, I'll go see Savva. He goes, oh, I don't know if he'll remember me. Just see if he does. Tell him Sports Yapper or Football Yapper, whatever it was. I'm like, I'll see if he does.
It does ring a bell. It does ring a bell. I mean, it's just funny. Like, mate, I just don't get it. Let me ask you, Tommy. You're not a Spurs fan, right? You're West Ham, right?
Yeah, but I'm a football fan as well. Like, I think people need to start realising this.
No, of course. Yeah, listen, I always say that as well. Football fans, you know, I hate it when people can only talk about one thing. From an outsider's point of view, from a football fan's point of view, when you look at Spurs, what do you make about it? I don't know. What do you make about Tottenham and the way we play and how many goals we
everything that's wrong with modern football. Everything that's modern. Club owners take the mick out of the fans. It's just PR. Like my mate said to me, you go around Tottenham now, they're doing Squid Games before the game. What's all that about?
Embarrassing.
Squid Games. He went to me, he goes, well, I hope that next, because you got a Korean youngster, ain't ya? He goes, I hope he's absolutely rubbish. Because that's Levy's ticket, isn't he? Like, have more tourists, spend the money. He goes, I hope he's absolutely rubbish. And I hope the manager don't play him because he's just fed up with it now.
Yeah.
And he goes, why are people staying at 5-1, 5-1? He went at 4-1. And people are going to him, oh, why are you not showing your support? No, he ain't doing it. He went, I'm going home. I want to get the train home. He ain't staying there. Why? Why are you going to stay? He didn't go to Levy out thing. He ain't bothered because he knew it would be. People saying Levy out, but in the same man got all the merchandise in around. That's all it is. Like,
mate, I just find it amazing. I find it amazing. I mean, yesterday Spurs were 5-1 down, and everyone's singing a song about Postecoglou, and I'm looking at this manager going, "You're the reason we're 5-1 down, mate. You can't turn up against the best team in the country and just say, you know what, we're not going to protect the back four. We're not.
You're
right. Do you know what I mean?
Side yesterday. Oh, you're right hand side yesterday. Oh my god. Oh my.
Shocking,
all the time. One ball over the top. That was all they needed. And you was right as well. As soon as it went 5-1, 5-3, they went, oh, you know what, we'll score another one. They did straight away.
Yeah,
obvious.
Yep.
It was awful.
I got the feeling that if Liverpool wanted to score 10, they could have scored 10. They were queuing up.
Yeah, they took their foot off the pedal at like 4-1, 5-1. They're like, I ain't got to worry about this now. It is awful. But as I say, I think last time I said with different teams, I've got different expectations for different teams. If I'm a Tottenham fan, I know you're a big club. I've never not said that. You've won your UEFA Cups, you won Europa Leagues, you know what I mean? So I've got expectations for you lot, as I do for Arsenal, Man United. I don't have the same expectation for the Palaces and the Brightons. So if Postecoglou was manager of Brighton, he was in this situation, I wouldn't be able to say anything. I'm like, yeah, what do you expect? When you're Tottenham, got the most expensive season ticket there is in the league, and you can't say anything, what does that tell about modern football now? It's a joke. You can't say, we're not football fans anymore, we're just customers. Oh, we don't care about them. What are they moaning for? Oh, we'll just put out a new kit, no, they got to buy it. It's awful. Honestly, it's so bad. I love football. I could not stop supporting it, but I wish I never started with it now. I wish I supported it 8 years ago.
Just quickly, by the way, Alf, listen, you weren't right about Pep. Listen, you can, Alf, the link's there, mate. Anyone that wants to debate anything, the link is there. I'll call you out, Alf. Again, you and other Man City fans don't realise how good you've had it for 8 years. You genuinely don't know how bad your club was when I was growing up. And now we're all gonna turn on Pep Guardiola now, are we? Because you're having a bad couple of months.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Savva. To be honest, I think you should be able to call out your manager if he's not doing well. I think you should always. If you know what I mean? I don't think people should be turning. I think people should be allowed to call their managers out. I think, oh, do you know what? He has lost. I want a better manager and what that can do a bit better. Do you know what I mean? That's nothing wrong with that. You don't want to become stale. You don't want to fall behind. But I know what you're saying.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I find it funny that they've just had 8 years of unrivaled success. The first moment they get into, 1 win in 12, and it's, I've been saying for ages that Pep's crap. And you're like, what? Hang on.
No.
After Pep Guardiola.
You know he's winding you up.
But he'll come on and defend it, I reckon. After Pep Guardiola, Tommy, where do you go from there? Where do you go that's better than Pep? Who's better than Pep?
Well, that's the thing, though. I always feel like you shouldn't always think like that. You should feel like, obviously, you're never going to get better than Pep. Pep's like one of the, I'll put him up there with Fergie. But I've seen teams get lesser managers and get more out of the team. Do you know what I mean? It's not you. Why do people always go to the negative, though, Savva? Why are people always like, I'm one of the people go, why we always get caught? But why do always people go to the extreme, like, oh, there's no better manager? Like, you shouldn't be thinking like, because that's why clubs feel like that. They're like, oh, we can't get better. But it's up to them. You get paid lots of money to get the next best manager for your club. It's not always about the best manager. It's best manager for your club. What you're going for.
But it's also about standards, right? It's that, let's be fair, a club like Man City can go and bring in a new manager that will give you a bit of feel-good factor. But let's be brutally honest, Tommy, there are only certain managers that when they're in a title race, when they're trying to win a Champions League, there are certain managers that know how to do that, right?
Yeah. But you know what? Also, I think it includes as well, because I'm very thin with ownership. Like, I always think ownership is always down to the ownership, always. And I feel like Man City have got good ownership. Like, great ownership. They will not allow.
I agree.
If they get someone in, they won't allow them to like do like, I don't know, like on Arteta, like go on like be 15th after like 19 games. They'll get rid of them. And also if they're challenging in January, they'll back their manager. About, who do you want? Right, we'll give you him whatever, 100 million. There you go, spend it. Go on, whatever. Instead of teams now, they don't. Oh no. Like Arsenal last couple of years, they don't go out and make that intention clear in January. I believe Man City would. I believe Chelsea will this January. I believe not so Liverpool, but I feel like Chelsea would do it if they're still in the title race. They go, all right, who do you want? Resco, who do you want? All right, you get him. Call 100 million, bosh. It's always down to the ownerships. It shows intent. It always comes from the top. You know?
No,
it's like having the best manager.
I completely agree with you. I just think, I think be careful what you wish for. When you're Man City and you've got Pep and he's won you everything over and over and over again, and then he has 12 bad games and suddenly people are now going, oh, he's lost it, he can't rebuild, and you're like, well, hang on, this is the best manager in the world. And
but no person's bigger than the club, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, you say that, but Tommy, this is man. You got to remember, Man City don't have that legacy that Man United have. No. They don't have that legacy that Liverpool had. Right? Pep Guardiola's put them to a level they could dream of. He's put them.
Yeah, I've seen him with Benjani up front, Joe up front.
Yeah.
Goal.
Yeah, mate, Tommy. I don't know how old you are. I've seen them.
25.
I've seen them with Paul Dickoff and Jonathan Macken up front in League One. And now you got fans going, oh, you know, I said it. Listen, Alf, to be fair to him, is waiting. He will come on and talk to me in a bit about it. But I just think you've got to be careful what you wish for, right? Whichever manager goes into Man City now is going to have to rebuild. Now, this is the difference, Tommy. When Spurs fans talk to me about a rebuild, we're not rebuilding from anything. Man City now need to go again. Man City need to rebuild. And if you look at what Pep's done in 8 years, the team that won the league last year was nowhere near the same team that he won in his first year. He won it. He has rebuilt it, but people get so impatient. 12 bad games and people are wanting the manager out. It's like, try having 14 months of bad management.
Yeah, but to be fair, Tel, I'm quite impatient because I know how much money's spent around. I know how much people are getting paid. So I'm impatient. I'm like, you're getting paid a hell of a lot of money, so I expect a lot from you. If you're getting paid little money or like, I'm like, all right, cool, but I expect a lot. But as again, I believe City, if they brought in another manager, they'll be fine. I've seen it before, Pep, when Pellegrini. I know they won't dominate like that, but I still think they'll win trophies and
but
they won't dominate the league. Yeah,
Tommy, that's the difference, right? These owners don't want a few trophies. These owners want to dominate.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right? There's many managers that will go in there and they'll win you the odd trophy, but when you bring in the Jurgen Klopps, when you bring in the Pep Guardiolas, the Ancelottis, the Alex Fergusons, you're not bringing it in to win a trophy. You're bringing it in to dominate, right? Postecoglou, yeah, wins wherever he goes. I mean, Miss Bunny, I mean, we conceded 6. It could have been 10. And you're saying that there was only one piece of quality. Come on. What are we doing here? Tommy, look, anything you want to say before I let you go? I've got a few people building up in the background.
No, I was going to say thanks for letting me on. And hopefully we finish above you this season. But we're rubbish anyway, so it don't really matter.
Well,
but no.
I mean, you're 3 points behind us. You're 3 points behind us.
Isn't it? You've lost more games than us.
And you've lost less games than us.
Yeah, that's mental, isn't it?
West Ham, who everyone's saying manager's got to go. You've lost less games than Tottenham Hotspur. I'm embarrassed to be a Spurs fan at the moment.
Well, truly. You're playing your manager. That's your former manager. That's above you in 4th place.
Mate, I listen. I keep saying, I keep getting asked. If
you got to be patient, Till. You got to be patient.
I keep saying, if we lose this game, will he go? I just don't think this manager's going to go. There are too many people that love his absolutely ridiculous, childish tactics.
Yeah, but do you know why that is? Because obviously you had no connection with Mourinho and Conte, their foreign managers, because obviously he can speak good English and he says mate after every sentence. Everyone gets around and go, I'll give him a pass. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. That's all that is. They just feel a bit comfortable when he plays a bit more better football. Like, come on, as I've said this, if you're not ENIC out or Levy out, Mourinho is one of the best cup managers there is ever, and you sack him a week before a final. If it's not, I don't know how much more proof to tell you your club is not serious. I don't know what else you need to know. I don't know what else to say.
You're preaching to the converted. Right, you're preaching to the converted.
I liked Jose. I
liked Jose. I'll just put it out there. I had no problem with Jose Mourinho. This whole notion that Jose Mourinho's teams always play bad football, mate, it just goes to show to me that people didn't watch how good his Chelsea team was. He broke records at Real Madrid. Jose Mourinho's a top manager, but if you give him Joe Rodon at centre half and Matt Doherty at right wing back and Gedson Fernandes in midfield, I don't know what you expect.
What I'm saying. You back the wrong horse, like most clubs do nowadays.
Yeah,
like you back Postecoglou, but you don't back Conte, Mourinho. That just says everything. But no, listen, I hope you have a good Christmas and thanks for letting me come on.
Always, mate. Listen, a happy Christmas to you and yours, man. And remember, it's only football. Take care.
It's only football. See you later.
See you soon, Tommy. Take care, mate. Big up to everybody in the chat. I'm going to bring on Kevan, I think it's pronounced. I can only see a ceiling. Are you there? There we go. That's better. Hopefully he's got something good that he wants to debate me on. Just before we bring him on, big up to 7, the Sanctuary of 7, which is probably how many we should have conceded yesterday. As it Ange won't go until he's out of every cup, I reckon. 7, this is my complete worry, is I don't know how bad we have to be in the league before people are going to realise just how shit, I'm not even mixing my words, just how shit this manager is. But big up to you. Thank you so much. And I don't disagree with you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Antonio Rodriguez, thank you, brother. Really appreciate you for the 5 Football Heritage TV memberships. If you are one of the people who were gifted a membership, please, so I shouldn't have to tell people to say thank you, but please do thank Tony for that. And just to let you know, if anyone hasn't subscribed, please do. We're only 280 away from 15,000. I was hoping to get there by January the 1st, but I do acknowledge that that's probably a very tall order in the next 8 or 9 days. And also, East London Gooners just come in with a super sticker. So big up to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Yeah, I wish I had something to banter the Arsenal fans at the moment, but I really, really don't, because we're an absolute shambles. Kavan, are you ready? Give me the thumbs up in the background if you're ready for me to bring you on. No thumbs up, just okay. How you doing, man? You good?
What's up?
I'm good, man. How are you? You well?
Yes, I'm okay.
Good, good, good. What is it you want to talk about, my friend?
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to this. Talk to me. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. The game was we dominate Tottenham for most, but I think Tottenham were too open.
Mm-hmm.
Understand?
Yes, I think Tottenham are open for 90 minutes of every single game we play. So, yeah, I completely understand. Can I ask you then, as a Liverpool fan, were you surprised at just how easy it was to go through our back four and to get through our midfield and have shots on goal?
Yes, it was. I think Spurs was going to give us a good game, but it was too easy.
Were you expecting to score 6 past us?
No, I never expect 6. I was expecting probably minimum 4.
Do you know what? That sums up Tottenham, though, that clubs are coming to Spurs and thinking a minimum of 4. That tells me just how bad we are as a football team right now. Let me ask you then, I mean, is there anything that you specifically wanted to say? Is there, what are Liverpool going to win the league? Are you feeling good about your club?
I still think it's too early, though.
What, in terms of talking about winning the league?
Yes, we're still in December. I will come back. I will come back probably in February, and we'll have a talk.
Come back to me in February. I think you're going to win the league now. I think that from this position, you should win it.
Injured, no?
From this position, you should win the league. That's all I'm going to say. But listen, why don't you come back to me in February and we'll have a chat then.
All right.
All right.
Right.
Enjoy your evening, my friend. You take care.
Okay.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to bring on DJ Paul in the house. This is your first time on, isn't it, my friend?
Yes, it is, man. Savva, it's a pleasure, man. We have so many battles, man, with the thumbs and the fingers that it's time to really talk man to man. And I think I sent you a message this morning replying that we're too much alike, seeing the same things over and over and over with this manager. And just speaking to it really and truly, I don't understand the nature of some of the fans who don't see the basics of what we're doing. And so it's that's what I really want to talk about.
Okay.
Just to get an idea of where we are and where we're pointing the blame consistently after a loss. And I think last week when you were on, you were pointing out, I'm not sure who you were debating, but I think it was Monday. And I was listening because I work, school is out now, so I'm free. That's why I'm on. Yep. And so we look at the overarching responsibilities of Daniel Levy. He runs the club. He's going to be there. And therefore, he's going to always be a part of what happens at the club. He's going to hire the manager, he's going to fire the manager long before he leaves. And people have to understand that. And so when Ange came in and said, look, these are my parameters, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to lay the foundation for what I want to see the club and how the club is going to play and my system. And he laid that out. And great, I've always spoke about that great front foot football. But then where is the pragmatism as far as how we're going to play defense? today might not be the day that you have to go full bore, but Ange keep doing it. Today might be the day that, you know what, I might have to sit a little based on who I'm playing. And so, in my opinion, I am not going to say Ange should go. I know that you said you want him to go, but if I present this to you to say, what do you think if you start seeing some signs towards playing some sense of defense where we start to level out on the defensive line?
Yeah. Look, first and foremost, let me go to your first point, and we'll talk about this in a minute. I always find that when we're talking about Daniel Levy and Tottenham, I feel like people seem to think that we can't have more than one conversation at once. So, for example, when I put a video out yesterday, I did a 1 minute video on TikTok, which it blows my mind, that place. It was a silly 1 minute video saying I think Ange should go. 110,000 people and 4,000 messages later telling me I'm an idiot and I'm a prick and all this. Everyone come back to me saying, oh, it's the owners. And I always say, hang on, two things can be true. Like, I don't like the owners, Paul. Like, everyone knows I don't like the owners. I'm not blaming the owners for the crap we're watching on the pitch. I'm blaming the manager for that. Now, listen, obviously you're saying you're not ready for him to go. Listen, to your point, if I saw some sensible kind of tactics, if I saw some tactical nous, if I saw a manager, for example, yesterday that said, you know what, we're playing the best team in the country currently. They are, aren't they? They're top by what?
Yes.
I think are they 6? Hang on, let's have a look. In the Premier League, Liverpool are 4 points clear with a game in hand. So, look, they're the best team in the country. If I saw the manager turn around and go, you know what? Well, listen, we're playing Liverpool. They've got a ferocious forward line with Diaz and Salah and Gakpo. You know, you've got Soboslai, who works tirelessly in midfield, and you've got Alexander-Arnold's ability from the right and Robertson from the left. If I saw the manager, Paul, say, right, I'm gonna devise a game plan to negate their strengths. If we then lose the game, you turn around and go, do you know what? He tried. But the problem that we're seeing, Paul, is when people are talking about his tactics, I don't think there are any tactics. It literally feels like every game is, when we win the ball, just get it quickly forward to Maddison and Kulu, and let's just fly forward. And for me, I can't live. Look, I'm too old and ugly to live my football following like that. I need a manager that's got some nous. And the last thing I'll say before I bring you back in, Paul, the worrying thing is we lose 4-3 at home to Chelsea. We lose 6-3 at home to Liverpool, right? We lose to Ipswich. We lose to Palace. We lose to Brighton. And after every game, the manager says, we're not changing. How do I back that, Paul? How do I back the manager that isn't saying, well, you know what? We've got to change. We've got to cut this. He's going, no, it's not who we are. How do I get behind that, Paul? How do I believe in that motion?
Yeah, I kind of set you up on that one because the thing that I look at, right, and I'm going to get back to that part of the deal with how we actually play. But when you look at it, for the people who are talking about the manager has not been backed, I know you addressed that question, but let me go back to now, tie it into the tactics itself. And when you look at what the manager wanted to bring in, he wanted to bring youth because he did not want a rebuild. If he wanted to rebuild, he would have kept Kane. So he had 13 players, maybe 12 going out and 12 coming in. And every single one of them that went out and came in, he's responsible for that. What we're doing is that as soon as it's not working out, we're saying that Levy gave him all these players. No, he said from the beginning that, look, the players I inherited are the ones I really want because they are going to play how I want to play and the system I want to play. So I'm going to start work with these players. And he brought in the youngsters while we want some veteran. And so he has to take responsibility for the players that come in. How he's using them now is another matter. Now that it's not working out, most of the fans are going back and say, whoa, wait a minute, Levy's giving him these players. And this has been happening for years, wherein as soon as it's not working out, we're blaming Levy. And while I will never defend Levy for what he does football-wise, we have to start change and look at the immediate, as you say last week. Let's look at the macro part of the club and look at the micro part of the club. The micro part of the club is that Ange is responsible for what goes on the pitch. And just like we did against Chelsea, where Chelsea was literally attacking us with 5, and we were attacking them with 8. So we find ourselves that every time that we attack, we are behind Chelsea's midfielders. Our fullbacks are so high, our central defenders are so high that every time it breaks down, we are facing our own goal. And to the point of saying that, look, we are short-staffed, we are undermanned. Isn't that the right time to apply some pragmatism to what you're doing? That, look, we have to hold the fullbacks in. First of all, he went to the best tactics he could have, barring a 4-4-2, was to go with a 4-2-1-3, which would means that your 2 midfielders are going to sit in with help from your fullbacks. But he was still playing as though he was playing into a 4-1-2-3, which means that you're an all-out attack. And when you start attacking like that and leaving yourself exposed, team like Liverpool are going to take their chances. And part of what you're saying is that, look, you can't win games and say, whoa, you don't know Ange, when you're giving up 15 chances. When team take those chances, you end up with what you get from Liverpool. And even in the 7 wins that we have, and you look at the ratio of shot against us, even though we score what? We have a plus 17 in our wins, we were giving up numerous amount of chances. And the teams that took their chances, we lost 8 games against them. So I still don't understand when fans are saying, give him time. Give him time to do what? But I don't see any tactical nous going on where we can stem the flow of a team. We scored yesterday, and it was 2 minutes to halftime, and we were on the front foot. That's not the players. That's coming from the manager.
But Paul, I think that the key thing for me here is, I think you hit the nail on the head, right, at the beginning of your talk there. What makes me laugh is in the summer when people like me were saying we need a bigger squad, right? When people like me were saying, well, hang on, everyone's praising getting rid of Deadwood, but we've replaced them with kids. Right? Not saying that Deadwood didn't need to go, Paul, but if you are going to, if in the summer you're going to say, right, Ndombele, Lo Celso, Skip, and Højbjerg all need to go, I've got no problem with that, Paul. If you're going to tell me all 4 go and then you bring in 2 kids, I've got huge problems with that. Now, where I get pissed off, Paul, is I wear my heart on my sleeve. I always say how I feel, and I know that most of the time it's just going to get me loads of shit and I'm going to be called negative. Right, I get it, but the frustrating thing about this is we were saying this. Can
I say something here, Savva? Can I say something here? When I was introduced to your channel, I don't know if you remember because you talk to so many people. I was pissed off at you. I was pissed off at you. But the thing that I can't hide from, if I want to speak the truth and look at football the way it is supposed to be looked at, I can't be mad at you. And that is why you and I, from time to time, have the same things and see things the same way, because you understand football. And let me give a big shout out to one of your friends who I think I have a beef with him, and he doesn't know me, but I just have a beef with him from incident. So let me go way back to it. Stello. Stello has one of the best football mind as content creators. So let me give him that. And so whatever happens outside of that, I still respect him for that. You can continue. I just want to put that out there before I leave, that I respect Stella for his football knowledge and what he said. The other things are just things I don't want to deal with. But shout out to him for the way he looks at football. The other things, like I said, I'll leave it right there.
No, listen,
sorry for interrupting you.
No. You're all good, my man. You're all good. Listen, I think the thing is with Stell's got a very good football brain. He has, you can see he's worked in football. And look, not everyone's going to like the way that I go about things or Stell goes about things. But you know what? When we talk about the club, we want what's best. And a lot of people say things like, oh, you're just negative. Me wanting a better manager isn't negative. In my mind, the way I see it, Paul, is people who want this manager that is absolutely useless. That for me is negative. Wanting a shit manager for me is negative. But listen, it is what it is. Look, the way I see it, and I will let you go in a second, Paul, because I do. And Alf, I have messaged you in the background. Just see if are you happy for Brian to jump on next, just because you are. Okay, cool. Because then I think me and Alf are going to have an epic Pep Guardiola debate. So we'll get to that. I think the key thing for me, Paul, is you're allowed to not you. I mean, the royal you. You're allowed to change your mind on football. No,
Sure.
scrap that. You're allowed to change your mind in life about anything. But I'm the sort of person, Paul, I need evidence. I need evidence to show me, right, here's my opinion on day 1. Here's some evidence I've been given on day 365. Actually, yeah, I'm changing my mind because this evidence all adds up to, actually, I might have been wrong with doing this, this, and that. 18 months later, which we know is not 365 days. I don't know how many days it is. What, 500 and, I don't know, 550 days or something, right? I'm still looking, going, I can't see the positives. I can't see when people are talking to me about give it time. Ange's going to change. He's going to adapt when he gets his players. Well, hang on. These are the same fans, Paul, that in the summer were making videos saying we're going to finish 3rd. These are the same fans that were going, oh my God, Graham Bergvall are the greatest thing since sliced bread. Watch how good we are. These were the same people telling me that Dominic Solanke was going to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League. I think he's got 5 or 6, which is okay. But this is my problem, is the people that were saying all these things in the summer, now that their manager, I'm saying their manager because I don't relate to this manager. He's not my manager. This is
I'm not there yet.
I can't wait for this guy to go, as you know. For me, I want those people, stick by what you said. You turned around and you said, not you, but they turned around and they said, this guy's going to finish 3rd. We're going to have 81, 82, 83 points. This guy's great. You watch Archie Gray boss our midfield. Look how good we're going to be. Solanke this, blah, blah, blah. Now it's not happened. All of them go, Levy. Now, hang on. Some of us have been talking about how shit Daniel Levy is for 20 years and being called out for it, as Brian, who's coming on next, will attest to, right? But now all of a sudden, those people that weren't talking about Daniel Levy in the summer, Paul. They were talking about youth project.
Generational talent.
Right. So that's why I get so fed up. All these people that have been wrong about Ange, rather than just turn around and go, yeah, we were wrong, are now doubling down on their opinions. As I said, I saw a video today from a YouTube creator, and this YouTube creator said we'd finish 3rd on 81 points or 83 points. Today, Spurs showed courage. I'm not swearing at you, but fuck off. Like, really? Spurs showed courage after going 5-1 down. Like, this is what we're celebrating at our club. I'm baffled, mate. I'm baffled by this whole club.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go so you can take the other guests. But can I give a plug for myself here?
Go, mate. Go for it.
So what I've done, because I've been on your stream a lot, and I find consistency is the best way to go about it. So my music channel, which I had, the Rude Boy Sound, I might be up there as that right now, is that I've deposited their videos before and after the game with my thoughts and everything. So if you go to the Rude Boy Sound, everything that I've said from day one and how I view the game, how I view Ange, and all my thoughts are actually there. So if you want to go back and take a look at the video, I've been consistent with the things that I'm saying, and I'm trying to build a channel to where there's some comfort level where I hope to get into the mainstream of YouTube content creating, Spurs and otherwise.
When you come out, put your link in the chat. Put your link in the chat. Yeah, or put your link in the chat, and we'll get people to subscribe. Listen, I for one, I'm a big fan of. I think anybody who's got a channel, promote it. Let's all promote it. We're all doing this together. So listen, whack your link in the chat, and we'll get people to subscribe.
Yeah, I can't Savva, for the life of me. I am down to actually 3 channels that I subscribe to. Obviously, I subscribe to yours, and I've been listening to them for years. But the waffling that you just spoke about, it there's something in the pit of my stomach, and I'm talking about a club I've supported for 46 years. I can't listen to that. I absolutely can't listen to it. I just can't, because there's no substance to the overreach of this man who is clueless tactically, and we're hearing just wait until we gave him 47 million pounds already to spend in 2 summer windows, and this is what he brought us with no defense. And so I'm not sure if he gets what he wanted already, if the backing him in his way, when a manager asks a chairman for what he wants and answered, when I ask, this is what I get, the dollar value doesn't really matter anymore. The chairman is listening to him and gave him what he wanted. So therefore, when he's not producing on the pitch, that has to be called out. And a lot of the content creators are waffling about that. They want to keep blame Levy for signing Clinton Ninja. I'm like,
listen. All I think is that, and I will get Brian on in a second, but all I think is, Paul, is people need to stay to what they said. If people who were praising the summer transfer window and talking about a youth project and that kept telling me you don't know Ange Savva, and in his second season his team's improved, stick to it, because he hasn't improved us. He's getting worse, and people still love him. But listen, Paul, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it, my brother.
And just know, when we have those battles backwards and forwards in the comment sections, it's only football for me. It's only football.
You're all right, Savva. You're all right. We're not going to always agree, and I appreciate that. And I've said that as well in some of the videos that I've done, that, look, if there's one guy that I will have maximum respect for, is that it's Savva. It doesn't mean that because he disagree with you, then it's the end of the world. Here's a man who will come back and say, I was wrong, and let's move forward. Let me hear your point of view. Let's move forward. So shout out to you. Big shout out to the listeners and everything. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. And listen, you and yours have a great Christmas. And
same to you, my brother. I hope to be in London next year.
Listen, we'll meet up for I was going to say a beer, but we don't do that anymore. We'll meet up for a coffee. Brian Daigle.
Whatever, I will let you know. I'll definitely let you know. We have enough time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Listen, you take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
Sure.
See you, mate. Take care. Right, Alf, thank you for letting me bring on Brian next, and then Alf and I can have a discussion. By the way, there's people in the chat that are saying, right, I'm ready to debate. Links there, people. If you are ready to debate, get yourself on. And by the way, somebody who said, get Arsh on. I don't even know that bloke yesterday that was slagging me and Stell off on We Are Tottenham TV. He's more than welcome to come on. I'm guessing he won't. It's easier to talk about someone behind their back. I'm guessing he won't. Let's have a look. Brian Daigle's here. Look at this guy. Brian Daigle. Hello.
Big up, Savva. Big up, everyone in the chat. Thank you to Alf for letting me come on first. I'm not going to be long. I've got to get back to work. But before we talk about what I need to talk about, Savva, got to say, you're looking tanned, you're looking fresh, you're looking sharp. This side of the pond is so much better. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. But yeah, I just want to get into this now. And
go for it. Floor is yours, Mr. Daigle.
I was thinking about a lot about this last night, and I'm going to call it out as it is now.
Go for it.
We have people that go for the board, like myself, and will continually bitch and moan, if you want to call it bitch and moan, or speak the truth, whatever terminology you want to use, that stick to our convictions. We have people that are against the manager, such as yourself and others, that speak how they want to speak about the manager. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're against the manager, against the board, against whatever. Do you know what the problem is? People on social media or in our chats right now, from the homegoing match day fans, and not all of them, I'm not even calling all of them, I'm calling the ones that come on these chats or in social media or in WhatsApp groups, go, yeah, do you know what? We're going to get the board out. I'm ready to go. Let's protest. Let's protest. Or, yeah, I'm Ange out. Let's protest. Let's. Where are you? Where are you? You're all in this chat, or Star Wars, or We Are Tottenham TVs, or mine, or Last Word on Spurs, or whatever chat you're in. Yeah, I'm going to the game. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be there. Were you? Or were you just in the chat, flapping your gums, running your mouth, just being part of the scene? All the people that come into your chat, other chats, oh, I want Ange out. Oh, yeah? Well, why didn't you make a racket in that pin drop of a stadium? When it was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop there, and Ange Postecoglou songs are going on, like in support of him. Where are all you lot running your mouth? I want Ange out. He's got to go, calling him every name under the sun, whatever. If you do want him out, if you do, and fair play if you do want him, that's your opinion. Why aren't you making a noise? Why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you doing anything? But you come in here and flap your gums and run your mouth. And then also, and I will stick up for these people, everyone that's in the chat now that gets accused and labelled, oh, you're a fan from abroad. What do you know? You're an international fan. Bullshit. You have a go at these people. I went down to the Scotland Yard yesterday, minus 20 degrees. Minus 20, I made my way down there. Matchday going fans won't even step out in that weather. Oh, it's too cold. Why will people come onto chats and call it out, whether it be the manager, the board, a player, whatever? You're a matchday going fan. Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to tear shit up. I'm going to join them. I want Levy out, or I want Ange out. But then when you get there, you do nothing. I know for a fact, Savva, Levy in people, or I don't say Levy in, because there's Levy out and there's not against the ball, but you know what I mean. There are people I know firsthand that went there to go see what the protest was about. Not to join it, but to see what the numbers were, to look at it. But the people that are in your chat and everyone else's chat that are Levy out, don't go there. But people that want to see what it's about will go there. Because they're too busy flapping their gums, running their mouths. That's all they do. It's all they do. The home day, and I'm not calling, there are some people, and get this right, I'm not calling every single fan out. I'm talking about the fans that say they want change in the ownership, or if you don't want change in the ownership and you don't attend and you're in the stadium, fair play to you. That's your right. That's your prerogative. You're not against the board. You may not be against the manager. Totally understand that. Respect you for having your opinion. You go in and enjoy what Tottenham means to you. But these fans that come into the chats and social media, I just got to go. He's a fucking buffoon. His tactics are shit, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I couldn't hear the we want Ange out or sacked in them. Sorry, why aren't you making a noise? Because you're all that. This fan base, the home match going fans are all this. I know I could get North Americans that get up at 4 a.m. to watch Spurs on a 12:30 kickoff that would fly over if they could, and it was affordable, and protest and cause a scene and stick to their convictions, not just come on here and go, Ange out, Ange in, I'm going to the protest. Yeah, we got to coming to me, sending me messages. Get the protest going again. Do it again. Get it going. Jay, Change for Spurs, did everything. Laid it on a silver platter for you. And what do? You don't turn up. But then you go into chats afterwards and start running your mouth. It's all well and good addressing the owner. It's all well and good having your things about the manager or players. That's what I got told today. I got told today, you're a Canadian. What do you know? Stick to hockey. That's what social media does. People come in. Like I said, there is someone in here, and I'm going to bring his name up, and he knows I bring him up all the time. Gary Becks. Yep. Gary Becks is someone, me and him used to bitch and fucking moan at each other all day. All day. And literally, sometimes it got really, really nasty on both parts. Hold my hand up. Gary is someone I respect, admire, and trust and speak to now, because we both understand that we see things differently, but there is a common ground of a love for Tottenham. Mm-hmm. And there's no bickering and moaning. We may have different views, but no, Gary does not feel the way I do about the owner. He doesn't say, yeah, I'm going to attend the protest. But there's hundreds that do in chats, thousands that do on social media. And when it comes to it, Where are you? I feel like Delia Smith. Where are you?
I was going to say you're doing your Delia.
The manager.
So,
the manager. Where are all these Ange out people that come into your chat and Savva, you're Ange out, you have your reasons. I understand them. I understand. You know the reason. Only reason I'm not Ange out is literally because I know what this guy upstairs will do up top. That's the main. It's a really bad reason to have, but it is the reason, and that's why I can't change on it. But all these people that run in and go, oh yeah, Ange's got to go. He's clueless. He's this. He's that. Make your voice heard in that stadium. You don't, but you go onto chats and social media and run your mouth. The fan base is we are absolutely. We just think we're big and hard on social media behind a fake name or a fake picture. Yeah, I'm going to go. Oh yeah, I'm going to do this and that. Have you flown over from a different country? You live in the country. You go to the games. I have flown in from Canada for it. I have given up time. This fan base is.
Look, Brian. We've known each other for years, so I know your feelings. You know my feelings. Yada yada yada.
Yep.
But do you think all of this is just yet another strand of why Spurs as a football club we're a mess? There's no there's no unity anywhere. Whether it's there's no unity when it comes to the director of football. There's no unity when it comes to who the captain should be. There's no unity to the manager. There's no unity to the owners. There's no unity to the director of football. There's no. It's just all. It feels like we've created this beast, Tottenham, where everything and anything is being forgotten about that's actually important to football. Why do you think that people aren't? My reason. I've said why I don't protest. But why do you think lots of people say they're going to and then don't? Is it because it's just an easy thing to do on social media, or people don't really care that much? What do you think it is?
Mate, because this fan base is all talk. It's all talk. One change, have change laid on a plate, won't turn up for it. This time it was only an hour. An hour you had to turn up for. Not like the 4 hours we did, which was long, draining, blah, blah, blah. Didn't even have to stay there for an hour. Could pop there for 20 minutes. Half an hour. Jay got everything. Got interviews with big-time newspapers, printed, publicised. The media were all on it. Everything laid on a plate. Not a word. But, mate, like I said, it's not, forget what my feelings for the ownership and everything. People for the manager. There's so many people, these match day going fans, that say, I've got a season ticket, blah, 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 and I don't like the owner, I don't like the manager. Okay, so where's all those that stadium that we say is a soulless bowl, there's no atmosphere, there's no nothing. Why don't you try and get an Ange out chant? See how that goes. You don't. They don't. Because all mouth. All mouth. This fan base is, I've never known a fan base like it. And don't get me wrong, I stand by. I'm very vocal about where I stand on things. I don't. If I'm in the country and can protest, I'm there. If I can get over from Canada, I'll be there. But what's the point of talking a game and saying you're going to do something? Just say I'm not coming. That's it. Just don't flap your gums and say you're going to be there.
So can I ask a question? So obviously the protest went ahead yesterday. What sort of numbers were expected versus the reality of the situation?
Well, expected from everyone and all the traction it got on group chats, on social media. What looked like a lot more than what we normally got. And from what I'm being told from people that went to both, we got the numbers that we got in the summer, like the 200s, 250s yesterday. But from the sounds of it, on all across the board on social media, thousands were turning up. Thousands were going to be there. This is the moment. Make this moment. We've got to capitalize on this. Let's do our thing. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I feel like. Look, I've said many times before, and I've had these debates with people that for me, this is only me personally, and you know my feelings, Brian. So this is probably more for people that aren't you, if I'm brutally honest. Look, I think I said I think it's gone too far, and what I mean by that is the reason I don't protest is I feel like if Spurs were going to protest, it should have been done before the stadium was built. Because I feel like what we've allowed them to do, they were going to do it anyway. But you know what we've allowed them to do is build their empire. And the way I see it, and this isn't for everyone, I'm not saying I'm right. This is just my personal take on it. Is that Spurs have an owner now that has, we have owners, we have a board, and the company that owns us that have set out to do what they set out to do, and they've done it. Unfortunately, people want to hear this. They've done it brilliantly for what they wanted to do. When I say brilliantly, for what they wanted to do, it's brilliant. The problem is during that time, you had many people who believed. I remember the days of when I was on Twitter, going many years back now. I remember 3-4 years before the stadium was sorted out, was built, Brian. There were people like me, you, Stel on Twitter saying things like, sorry, people, do you truly believe that this is being built for success on the pitch? And we were told, like, no, you don't know. All the money's going to go in. We're going to be brilliant. We're going to compete. And then every year, Daniel Levy comes out and says things, doesn't he? Like, we're competing. This. If we have this deal, it allows us to compete. It allows us to be competitive with the biggest clubs. And now that hasn't happened. I just feel like we're at the point now where that man is laughing. I just think that man is absolutely laughing. By the way, Rico, you're not coming on. You're not coming on, Rico. I have zero to debate you on again. I really can't debate.
Well, listen, Savva, with that, I'm going to have to let you go because I've got 2 minutes to get back to work.
Right,
like I said, this rant was mainly aimed at the match day going fan that says they're going to protest and not. Not everyone, not all 62,000. The ones that say they're going to do stuff and then they never, ever do. Shame on you is all I will say. Absolutely. Why you do this, I don't know. I had to get it out there because this football club is such a mess and we all know where it is or where it lies, manager to owner to players, whatever. But this fan base needs to take accountability for this fan base and what it does. But on that lovely note, I will wish all of you a very, very Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever festival you may be celebrating. Happy and healthy New Year. Who knows? It may or may not bring a trophy. I know where my money is. But have a great one. Savva, brother, we'll catch up real soon. Thanks for having me on. And thank you to Alf once again for letting me join the queue. See you later, people.
Alf's going to come on now and debate me, so it's all good. Listen, enjoy. Big up to everyone in the chat. Just a couple of quick super chats. 7, this is unfortunately where my opinion is. As much as I don't want him and the owners here, I've said for years he's not going anywhere. They've built what they built on purpose. They didn't build this and then by accident stumble across the NFL and stumble across concerts. They built this for that very purpose. So I completely agree with you. And video complete. Sofiane said, I like Ange, but if the aim is to press high and have no defense, then surely we will nothing under him. So this begs the question then, video complete. I hear this a lot. Everyone starts with, I like Ange, but why? And I'm not talking about person as a person. Why do you like Ange's management? Just let me know, because I can't understand what people like about his management. I think he's the worst manager we've ever had. I think he's dreadful. I think he's truly, truly dreadful. Alf, thank you so much for being accommodating. Sat there in your robe like a champ. Alf, I'm guessing you want to talk to me about Pep Guardiola.
Quite a lot to talk about. I actually want to go back to something that was said earlier in the stream. I don't want to misquote anyone, but it's pretty much paraphrasing. It's not about getting better than Pep. Someone said that, I guess. It's all about getting better than Pep, because you're not going to get better than Pep. You're not going to get someone who is going to win the trophies at Man City that Pep did. But here's the problem. I don't think Pep is going to win those trophies anymore either. You get my point? I think it's about getting someone new in to continue going from where we are at now. And if I was a Tottenham fan, I had Daniel Levy owning my club. I would not be saying Pep out because I know Pep would be the only thing keeping that club together. At Manchester City, it's very different.
So look, let me set some scene here. So Alf, are you Pep Guardiola out? Do you think
Yes.
he should be relieved of his duties?
Yes.
So let me I just want to clarify this. So Pep Guardiola that in 8 years has won, what is it, 19, 20 trophies, something like that?
15 trophies and 3 community shields, if you count them.
Okay. So a manager that's he's winning on average 2 trophies a season. He's won you your first ever Champions League. You've won 4 titles back to back, which has never been done before. And you want the manager sacked because he's having 12 games where you look kind of like the rest of us. You look very average.
And what about the 4th beat season as well? Where I didn't say in the 4th beat season to sack him, by the way. I did say after the FA Cup final, if this kind of stuff continues, it's going to be a bit problematic. In the summer, I made videos. Today we signed Gundogan. I said this ain't the right decision. I think the 22nd of June, I made a video about Rodri will get injured if we don't get a backup. And now people can talk about Pep Guardiola maybe not spending money because he wasn't backed. But we know that's not true because the board offered him money. Pep Guardiola said, no, we're fine. We don't need to spend money. So my problem with Pep is he's just showing too much sentimentality to these players. He should have had Bernardo Silva gone 2 seasons ago. Okay, keep him for the 4th beat season, fair enough. After that 4th beat season, he should have been gone. Walker, same story really. And now he's captain somehow. A very small squad, which I have criticized for years, since he came here pretty much. Well, since he started having small squads pretty much.
Hang on. I get it, right? Look, yes, Pep likes to have a smaller squad. But for the last 8 years, hasn't it worked? Like, I feel like we're sitting here debating whether or not a new manager that's had 6 months is actually the right man. This is a manager that has turned it around for you guys time after time after time. There's been seasons where you were, 8-9 points behind Arsenal and Pep finds a way. Pep mixes things up. Now, maybe he has been a bit loyal to some of these players, but you don't think he deserves the next 2 years to go and buy again and build again? You don't think he deserves that?
Not really, because first of all, let's go back to what you said first. We're talking about a manager. It's not about how long he's had the job. We're talking about a manager. Any manager, if their performances wane, that's problematic. I don't really want Pep Guardiola at the moment because he's just keep doing the same stuff. Before we ever played Matthijs Nunes left back, I said play Matthijs Nunes left back. When we eventually did, it worked. Before we played Grealish in midfield, pretty much every Man City fan was talking about Grealish in midfield. There are so many things which Pep Guardiola just doesn't innovate. Then when he finally does, it's way too late. And let's go to the game, for example, against Nottingham Forest. He found a solution. Voila, he found a solution against Nottingham Forest. So what happens? Akanji and Ake get injured. Bad luck, sure. But now you expect Pep Guardiola to realize, okay, Akanji and Ake are not going to play, so I can't play the exact same system if I'm not going to have them. But then he plays the exact same system. And we draw another game, or was it? I think we drew that game. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's like he's not trying. I think after the treble season, he was mentally tapped out. In the 4th beat season, the tactics were horrendous. I'm surprised we won that 4th beat because players just, Foden, the amount of times he scored a goal from outside of the box, like Steven Ireland-esque goals. I can't expect to see Foden do that season in, season out, can I now?
But Alf, look, first and foremost, I think every manager goes through a spell where their decisions are wrong, their decisions are bad. Alex Ferguson had times in his tenure where people were going, sack him. Man United haven't won the league this year and Man United look poor. But surely these managers are the best managers in the world for a reason. They're also allowed a bad bit of form. And I know in football nowadays we're all very, very knee-jerk, but Pep Guardiola is the best manager in world football, bar none. Sure, like look at what he's done wherever he's been. And we're talking, he's reinvented Man City over and over and over again. And now we're talking about, well, he's done the 4-peat, he should go. For me, I think Pep Guardiola should be able to stay for as long as he wants. Like, I think you should be able to turn around and say, this manager deserves to have some bad form. Now, if it continues for a whole year, then no. But are you telling me seriously, Alf, if just hypothetically, by the way, Jay, who's just joined in the background, you need to have your camera on or you will not be allowed on the show. I don't know who you are. So without the camera, you will not be allowed on the show. That's what I thought. He's quickly dropped out. Alf, if Man City are going to turn around and say, right, in the summer, we've got 300, I'm just hypothetical. We've got 300 million to spend. Are you telling me there's another manager in the world you'd want to spend that other than Pep Guardiola on a rebuild?
Simone Inzaghi. I'm really interested to see what Simone Inzaghi could do. I'm not saying I take Simone Inzaghi in 2017 over to Pep Guardiola, but I'm actually very interested what Simone Inzaghi can do, give him some resources. I'm not saying 100% chance he's better, but what I am saying, by the way, yes, we're a sports club, that's a good thing. When you're a big club, you need to be just a little bit spoiled. Not entirely, but just a little bit. That's helpful.
Sure, but Alf, to Angus's point, and I'm not going to put words in Angus's mouth. He'll tell me if I'm misrepresenting him. But surely the fact that you guys weren't a club that were winning anything. You're now winning 4 Premier League titles in a row. You're winning the Champions League. You've got the best manager in the world. You've had some of the best players in the world. And now, as soon as it starts to go a little bit bad for a short period of time, we're talking about, I want Inzaghi. Would you really want Inzaghi instead of Pep Guardiola? Really?
Simone Inzaghi, who has won 2 cups or 3 cups and a league title with scraps, basically. I mean, internationally is not as dominant budget-wise as Man City is. So,
hang on. Sorry. We're talking about Inzaghi as in the Inter Milan manager, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. I thought we were feeding off of scraps. Have you seen how bloody strong Inter Milan squad is? And you think he's feeding off of scraps? Do you know what?
He was.
Alf, what scraps is he feeding off?
Well, let's start with Lautaro Martinez. When he first arrived, Lautaro Martinez was not that guy. Let's be honest. There's a lot of players in that internationally squad that nobody rated when he arrived there.
But hang on, Alf. I'm looking at Inter Milan's squad right now.
Yes, right now it's way better.
It's just packed with stars. Look, listen to some of these. At the back, they've got a Serbi, Bastoni, Darmian, Bisek, DiMarco, Dumfries, Pavard, De Vrij. Right, listen to those riches that he's got to pick from. Right, and then in midfield, Barella, Çalhanoğlu, Carlos Augusto, Fratesi, Mkhitaryan, Zielinski, Aslani. And then up front, you've got Carrera, Martinez, Taremi, Marcus Thuram, Arnautovic. Sorry, what scraps is he feeding off? That is a world-class squad.
Scrap, to be fair, but that's...
Who?
Thuram, I don't rate Thuram, but that's besides the point.
Right, are you saying Thuram?
Yeah, Thuram. I don't rate him, but that's besides the point.
But hang on.
Look at
what don't you rate about him? He's the second top goal scorer in Italy.
Yeah, but I just don't think he's that good. I'm sure he gets back some goals in Italy. I just, from the games I watch him, he never plays good.
Okay.
Like sometimes he throws back a goal, but...
So can I ask, and this, do you guys not think that Pep has made you what you are? When you're sitting there as man, listen, by the way, Alf, let me put this out there right now. I'm not saying that anyone can't be pissed off with Pep. Of course, everyone can be pissed off with their manager. But really wanting him to go, he built you. Man City, you won some stuff before he arrived, but he put you on the map. He's put you on the map to the point where everyone considers beating Man City a brilliant result. He made you that. He made you one of the best teams that has ever played football, with the likes of De Bruyne and Rodri and Haaland. Like, what are we doing here? What is it that you think a new manager is going to do?
And Arsene Wenger, that's the same for Arsenal, but they held on to him for way too long. And I don't think that Pep Guardiola is that far clear of the level from Arsene Wenger in his prime. I think one had more resources and then have to compete against Alex Ferguson. I think Pep is brilliant, best in the world right now. But these managers, sometimes they have a time limit in it, and sometimes it's good for both the club and the manager to just get something new. Because I just saw something as well taken from a comment. Inzaghi isn't as good as Pep. No one is right now. Pep is not as good as Pep used to be right now. So we're talking here about you can't replace prime Pep Guardiola. I'm not convinced Pep Guardiola is going to reach that level again at Man City.
Okay, but Alf White, let's be clear. You're coming off the back of 4 Premier League titles. This is the first year where I don't think you're going to win it this year. I think you acknowledge that. I think most football fans acknowledge that. But are we really going to turn around and say that Pep can't hit those heights again because he's had a bad couple of months? Do you not think? Let me ask you a question. I'll ask everyone in the chat as well. Right? I'll ask everyone in the chat as well. Let's say we all wake up tomorrow and your owner has sacked Pep Guardiola. Which football club in the world wouldn't want Guardiola? You name me one football club in that world that would not want Pep Guardiola.
I think everyone would want Pep Guardiola, but that would be something new for Pep. Pep would. I mean, let's do a hypothetical here. Spurs and Man City trade managers. Pep Guardiola, he'll have something new. It won't be same old. It won't be the same rhythm that he's been in for the last 8 years. It will be something new. He'll be able to reinvent himself in a way. He'll be able to do everything new again. It will just be something different. And I think for Pep Guardiola, that will be better, I think, as well. But I think for Man City, okay, I don't want Ange, but for Man City, we need to get some new, fresh managers in. I want to see a younger, fresher manager to bring some new ideas to Man City.
I'm just a bit baffled. I'm just baffled how you guys have got the greatest manager in world football, and we're talking about wanting managers instead of him so that he can go and have a new challenge. Why did he sign a new contract? Why has Pep Guardiola signed a new contract?
Probably 3 reasons. The first reason is probably, but the first reason is speculation, that the club told him, we're fine, there's no 115 or 130, whatever it is, we're innocent, we're fine. That's probably reason 1. The other 2 reasons, if I had to guess, is he believes he can rebuild it. Sure, maybe he can, maybe he can't. We'll see that in January. And third, he'll just want to stick at Man City because he has professed online and interviews and stuff that he wants to retire at Man City. So maybe he wants to get some. Any club except for Tottenham, I will accept that deal.
But what I don't understand is, I mean, if someone turned around to me and said, as I said, there's 300 million, Pep, go and rebuild, go and buy in. I'm just spitballing. Go and buy in Ederson from Atalanta and bring in Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen and those types of players. Those players want to play for Pep. You realize that, right? There's not other managers in the world that have that same pull. You do realize that, right?
Yeah.
And this is where I think people are not thinking. Listen, Inzaghi's a very good manager. I'm not doubting that. But every player in the world that's played for Pep can't speak highly enough about him and for what he does to change their game and for coaching and for upskilling them. And you really want to let that go for somebody else to do another rebuild.
Do the players right now believe in Pep, though?
So say that again?
Do the players right now believe in Pep, though? Look at how he played Look at how he played against Aston Villa. There was no belief in that team. Absolutely not.
Yeah, but let's look. I was streaming earlier with LB. Obviously, you know LB from the Man City community. I was streaming with LB, and LB said it as it is. I thought he got it completely spot on. He said, "You look at Man City." He went, "We've got 6 or 7 players that are 30 plus that need to move on, right? We've got players that are constantly injury prone as well. The likes of John Stones, right? But he also said, look how Pep's built us. Like, why would Pep not be the guy? You need what our fans think we need. When Spurs fans use the word rebuild, we've got it all wrong because we're not actually rebuilding from sweet FA. You guys need a rebuild to rebuild back to what you've been. And they seriously, managers you trust over Pep to spend that money and do that rebuild is what you're telling me.
There's a club I trust to spend that money because I've seen this club spend that money. I trust Man City more than I trust Pep Guardiola. I will always trust Man City more than anyone because I'm a Man City fan. I'm not a Pep Guardiola fan. You get me? It doesn't matter who the manager is. I'll trust Man City over anyone. If Man City decides to keep Pep, I will trust Man City because I trust my club. I want him out. If Man City decides we keep Pep, okay, I'm Pep out, but I trust my club. I trust my club more than anyone. You get that?
So you don't think that Pep Guardiola in his 8 years of Man City and all the signings he's made hasn't had a huge say in everyone that comes into that football club?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, but we've gotten De Bruyne, we've gotten Aguero, we've gotten players like this before, haven't we?
I'm just baffled. I feel like you guys have really forgotten who you were before Pep Guardiola came in. Like,
just a question: was Pep Guardiola here when we won the FA Cup in 2011, or when we won the league title in 2012?
No, but you weren't dominating then.
We weren't dominating, absolutely not.
Alf, there's a difference, right? Managers will pop in. I mean, who have you had that won things? Mancini won a title with you, right? And Pellegrini. What did Mancini and Pellegrini do on the bigger stage? What did they do in the bigger picture? Were you dominant? Were you winning everything every year?
No, but
right. So why not? So this goes to my point. I've got no doubt a new manager can come in and win you a title, a trophy.
Yes.
Pep Guardiola's relentlessly won trophies to the point where the rest of the league, we're all saying, God, this is a one horse race. This is now a farmers league because Man City have dominated. And you don't associate that to Pep. You associate that to...
Sorry, go on.
No. So you do or don't associate that to Pep?
Yeah, I do in part. Like Pep Guardiola was at the club to do those things. So, of course, part of that is on him. Part of it is on the club because, well, the club got him for one. The club spent the money. Okay, has Pep had a big say in the club and what players we get? Yes. But it's still the club scouting network. It's still the club who got Girona to bring in Savio, who hasn't worked out, but that's a player Pep Guardiola wanted. The club is still part of that as well. So, is Pep part of that? Yes. But he's not all of it. And when I look at other teams across Europe, now I'm going to use some bad examples, but hear me out here. Real Madrid and Bayern München, I know, bad examples, but hear me out. They just go through managers religiously sometimes. They have times where they hold on to a manager, but there are times where they just religiously go through managers every other month, it feels like. And they keep winning. Bayern München had 10, 11 titles in a row. Did they throw their hands up and say, we can't get better than Pep? They did not. So, is Man City on that level? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I suppose we'll only see that when Pep is gone. One day Pep will leave, whether that be 10 years from now, whether that be now.
Alf, do you know what I hope happens? I actually want Pep to leave you lot, go to a bigger club than you, and you guys to absolutely implode. Because look, do you know what? I'm all for. I'm all for. You know, it was getting boring. Football was getting boring. It was always the big clubs, and then City and Chelsea actually shook it up. Listen, people won't agree with it. People don't like that these clubs spent big money, but it actually started to make it interesting. It wasn't just Arsenal or Man United winning the title every year in the Premier League. Yeah. Man U Chelsea started doing it. Liverpool did. City have now come along and dominated. But I do think we're at the point now where the entitlement from Manchester, not all Man City fans, from some Man City fans, and just so we're clear, I'm putting you in that bracket. I'm not going to badmouth you, but I'm putting you in that bracket. The entitlement now is, oh, well, you know, we need a new challenge. Well, hang on. None of you were saying you needed a new challenge when he was winning 4 titles in a row. None of you were saying it when he was winning the Champions League. None of you were saying it when he signed you Erling Haaland. None of you were. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we? I don't know what you hope for. If you get rid of Pep, do you think you'll be as dominant as you have been with a new manager?
We won't be, but I also don't think we will be with Pep. He's mentally tapped out after that treble. He's mentally tapped out.
But you don't know that. No, hang on. You don't know that he's mentally tapped out. Listen, maybe Pep's also in the same place at the moment where he's thinking, yeah, I need a new squad. Maybe Pep's saying, because let's be brutally honest, right?
Yeah.
When Pep Guardiola sat down with them for new contract talks, what was it? A few months back, right?
I think in September or October.
Okay, September, October. So they would have been having conversations for however long behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola's not a stupid man. He's a very intelligent football man. Are we saying that he wouldn't have sat down with the board and said, right, I'll stay, but you have to guarantee me that I'm going to get X, Y, Z. You have to, I need to move things on. I need to change things, right? Are we really saying that wouldn't have happened and that Pep's happy with the squad he's got?
Well, Pep is sort of, again, I was talking about this in the summit. I've got videos in the summit on my channel saying we're doing the wrong stuff in the transfer window right now. Pep signed off on most of these, if not all of these, 2 transfers. I said bringing Gundogan back is pure sentimentalism, and he was not the correct decision. Pep is a bit too late here, isn't he, then, with that? Sure, if the club says, okay, because, again, I come back to this. I trust the club about everything. If the club turns around and says, sure, Pep, he's the man, we'll give him another 300 million. Okay, fine, I'm Pep out, but I'll trust in the board that has made us a big club. I was watching Stephen Ireland score against Fulham. That is the first game I ever watched for Man City. Stephen Ireland scoring a banger against Fulham. I know that this team wasn't always good. I know that this team was not always...
But Alf, then the guy... But by the way, Man City aren't just good. And again, I'll talk we're talking micro, macro, right? The macro is that for 8 years, Man City have dominated English football, right?
Yes.
For 8 years, you've dominated. The micro is that you're having a bad couple of months, right? Welcome to the party, Alf. The rest of us go through this shit every single year, right? As Spurs fans, we go through this every year. But right now, this second, it just seems a little bit like, I remember, Mark Taylor's in the background. He's of age. Sorry, Mark. So he'll remember when there were Man United fans at a point going, we haven't won the league for 2 years. Ferguson should go. And you're like, what? No. When you get a manager like this, you don't let them go. If anything, he should tell you when he goes. This for me, I'm sorry. We could completely disagree on this. This just absolutely stinks of entitlement and you guys not realizing how lucky you have had it. Yeah? This isn't like Real Madrid, who have always had that. Real Madrid, we all expect, whether we call Real Madrid shit or not, we all expect they're going to win the Champions League every year, 2 years, 3 years. That's what they do. They're huge. They're a juggernaut. Man City weren't that. This guy has made you that. This guy, do you know how big he's made you? The fact that it's such a sensational story that you've won 1 in 12. Right? The fact that you've won 1 in 12 and the fact that your fans, can't deal with a little bit of pressure. I'll call it out. I'll speak to any Man City fan. Your fans have had it so good that now you're hitting one little rough patch. You can't deal with it. You don't know how to deal with the not winning, where the rest of us football fans, we get it, right? Look at Chelsea fans. Chelsea fans in the last 5 years have been used to winning titles, winning leagues, and being shit, right? They've had to deal with it all. Man City, you have never had to deal with it. You
Well,
have
I have,
never had
because
to. You've not had to deal with it.
I started watching this team in 2007, 2008, like the year of our takeover.
I mean, in the last decade, Alf.
Yeah,
I
in
mean,
the last
in the last
decade,
decade.
I agree. In the last decade, I agree. In the last decade, we've been absolutely blessed with Mancini, Pellegrini, and now, chiefest of them all, Pep Guardiola. Absolutely. But that does not mean throw the blanket, give him the keys to the club, and let him stay for 1,000 years if he wants. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Mhm.
So I understand where you're coming from. I don't really disagree with you on that. What I'm saying is, like, I look at the past for Pep, and I've never seen him be at a club for 8 years. Well, I've seen him at Man City for 8 years, but at Barcelona, he was 4 years, I believe. Bayern München, 3 years. And Man City, 8 years. This is completely different from being manager for 3 years or 4 years at a club. Is completely different from 15 years. The reason I always say Alex Ferguson is the greatest of all time is because he was at Man United for decades, not a decade, decades, and he kept them on that level. If Pep Guardiola,
hang on, and so has Pep. Pep's always kept you at that level, even
for 8
now.
years. That is not the same as 26 years.
But that's because you want to sack him. You're making no sense. Alex Ferguson did it year in, year out. And do you know what? Man U at no point, the actual club would have gone, should we sack Fergie? Because there would have been football people there going, I'm bringing who? Like, you know, it's the equivalent of saying, this is the equivalent for me, right? And by the way, if anyone else does want to come on, the link is in the chat. Mark is next, but then there's time for people to come on after that. This is the equivalent, Alf, of watching Barcelona back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Seeing Lionel Messi, who scored between 60 and 90 goals in a year, every year.
Yeah.
Seeing him have 1 year where he comes back down to mere mortal level and only scores 45, 50, and the fans going, he's got to go. He's got to go. Fine. Who are you replacing him with? Because anyone after that is a step down. And this is where I think people need to be careful. I.e., if I don't know if you're a snooker fan, right? If I want anybody to play for me in snooker, I'm going to Ronnie O'Sullivan, right? I don't care all these people that are fly-by-nights that come in and win the odd tournament. If I'm putting my money on one snooker player to back me in life, I'm going to Ronnie O'Sullivan. Why? Because he's the best. He's been there, seen it, done it, keeps doing it, right?
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola, I'm going to say this, is bigger than your club.
Yeah, I agree. He is bigger than my club. But we have to move. We are going to be without him at some point. We're going to have to move on at some point from him.
Sure.
If we have the ambition, and I think this board does, to become the biggest club in England, that will not happen while Pep Guardiola is here. We're talking about probably 30, 40 years until that happens. Unless we win like 20 titles in a row or something, which isn't going to happen. But, well, never say never. But what I'm...
So
Sorry?
I just want to confirm, right? So the guy you want to come in is
Simone
you want Simone Inzaghi to come in, right?
Yeah.
A manager that's only managed since 2016. Right? Yeah.
That's true, I think. I think
Right.
you managed at youth level, but professionally, I think that's true.
Right. So as a manager, you want him to come in and he's won one Serie A title.
Yes.
Right? 3 Coppa Italias.
Yes.
And Super Coppa and the Super Coppa Italias. So you want to replace the greatest manager arguably that's ever lived, arguably, with a manager that's never done a thing in Europe. Right?
Say Champions League final against Man City. Man City was terrible that final, by the way.
Yeah, sure, but Pochettino got to a Champions League final. I'm not about to put him in one of the greatest manager lists. So I just so you want to end all this off, because I do need to get other people on. Just to be clear, you want to sack Pep Guardiola now, and you want to replace him right now with Simone Inzaghi. Yes,
because I think Simone Inzaghi, he's young, he's got new, fresh ideas, and if they're going to spend, let's say £100 million pounds, something big, in just January. If you're gonna do everything new, might as well bring the new guy in. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. At some point, you need to move on.
I'm just baffled. By the way, when we're saying about young, do you know there's 4 years age gap between Pep Guardiola and Inzaghi? Like
I didn't know that, but Pep Guardiola has been managing since 2008, 2007, 2008.
Yeah, and look. Do you know what? As I said, I truly hope Pep leaves you lot and you implode. For me, I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't think you lot deserve it. Not all of you. I don't think you personally. I don't think you deserve to have one of the greatest managers at your football club. I've never known people wanting to get rid of a manager that's won 6 in 8. 6, is it? If I'm not wrong, 6 titles in 8 years.
Yes.
I've just
6
got no
and 7,
word.
even if you ignore his first season.
Sorry.
If you ignored his first season, it's 6 and 7.
I mean, I don't know what we're doing here. Listen, I'm going to let you go, Alf.
Yeah.
I think you will rue the day. I think you will rue the day that you were talking about asking for Pep to leave. Just remember, sometimes things happen in a moment in life and it's all forgotten very quickly. Yeah. I wouldn't want any other manager in the world doing a rebuild for me with big money than Pep Guardiola. But listen, thanks for coming on. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll see you on the next one.
All right, you take care. See you, Alf. Bye-bye. Where are we? Absolutely baffled. As a Spurs fan, I mean, I'd take Pep Guardiola and give him a 30-year contract. I just have no idea what we're doing here. Savva, if what you're saying is true, then Chelsea should never have got rid of Mourinho, and look at all the success they've had since. Yeah, but Chelsea have operated like that for however many years, haven't they? Chelsea have operated like this. They get rid of managers frequently. Man City don't. Mark Taylor, big up, Mark. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well. How was your holiday, pal?
Yeah, it was, mate, lovely. And then I come back to a 6-3 embarrassment. But yes, yeah. How are you? Good? You well?
I'm very well. Just to your last guest, I would say name the stadium after him. Build the biggest bloody statue that this place has ever seen. Unbelievable. It's ludicrous. Ludicrous.
Look, all I'll say is this. Listen, opinions, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Like, I just cannot believe that anyone would want to sack Pep Guardiola. I just think it's absolutely baffling. I'm just, yeah. Anyway, enough about Man City.
No.
I'm guessing Alf won't be happy then when Pep Guardiola has a rebuild and brings in some top players. Mark, what do you want to say, my man? Thank you for being patient.
No worries. I just want to say, obviously, you've studied the bit with Jamie Carragher on the Sky Sports, the in-depth analysis, and just wanted to know your opinion of once somebody's watched that and they do the complete same thing, it's utter madness.
Look, Mark, you know my opinion. I've said it to everybody and anybody. This manager has the worst tactics I've ever seen from any Premier League manager. Yeah. I'm at the point where I don't actually think he has tactics.
No.
Teams are rocking up and putting goals past us for fun, right? We are so wide open. And I'm at the stage where I think anyone that wants this manager at the club, they've got what you deserve. Not you, but I know you don't feel that. Yeah. I don't, Mark, I don't get it. You're sitting there watching. We're watching Harry Redknapp say he's got to sort this out. He's got to change. Glenn Hoddle saying he's got to change and adapt. Alan Pardew said, did you? Alan Pardew said yesterday.
Yeah.
He said, if I'm a defender in this team, I'm going into the manager after the game and saying, I don't want to play on your shit tactics anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone is saying it. Roy Keane has said it. Ian Wright is saying it. Gary Neville has said it. Jamie Carragher, Jamie Redknapp. Everyone is saying this is crazy. But we still have Spurs fans that go, this is all right. This isn't it. We score goals. What has happened? So what are we doing? He is shit. He is a terrible manager. And I hate to say it, but I told you so. He has been shit. And I've just seen that Ben has come in the background. Ben's another one. I can't wait to get Ben on the show. There's another one that told me this is going to change. It's going to get better. We're going to start seeing positive. It's getting worse and worse and worse.
After them first 11 games, which we got lucky on a few times, it's got horrendous. There's a blueprint out there of how to beat Spurs, and everybody knows it. And if he doesn't change, which he openly admits, he doesn't want to change. He doesn't see how it's going to change. I don't want to change. Why should I? I am who I am. It gets results. But Ange, it doesn't, mate. It doesn't.
It's shocking. What I don't get, Mark, is yesterday you're seeing, all right, they've scored nice and easy. They scored a goal nice and easy, 1-0 up. And then get a second, nice and easy for them. And the thing is, by 20 minutes, they'd had 10 shots at our goal. And you're thinking, right, okay, manager, you have got to do something. You've got to tell your two centre mids, just go and sit in front of that back four. Drop the back four to the 18-yard box and say, right, we're going to sit in for 10 minutes, 15 minutes to half time. No, we get the goal back. And then we're pressing with 1 minute of the half to go. The in-game management or lack of is honestly, it's like, do you know what? I went a few weeks back to see my cousin, my cousin's boy, play for his under 9 or under 10s team. And I'm watching them running around and I'm thinking, even they don't look as out of shape. Like we look like a semi-professional team. We look absolutely dreadful. And the last 14 months, we're 13th in the form table over 14 months of football.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just absolutely, it's bewildering, it's dumbfounding. People say, trust in it, all the stats, everything. Was it 200 shots, 250 shots against the last 10, 12 games?
He's had, I mean, do you know what? Look at just the last 3 home games. Right, we worked this out last night. In the last 3 home games, at home, by the way, not even away, the last 3 home games, we've scored 10, conceded 13, faced 62 shots. What's that? An average of 20.07 or something a game, and only had 31 shots. And when you're sitting there going, at what point do fans look at that and go, yeah, that ain't right? Yeah, that's not real. This is computer game stuff. It's ridiculous.
Good teams, winning teams don't have the stats don't have that. They might have 10, 15 shots and score 2 or 3. The opposition will only have 5 or so. It's just these stats do not work. That everything that this manager does is in-game tactics, is management. I've known managers, and so have you, Sav, that you pick a formation. If that formation doesn't work, you change it. You change it to what your players have. You've got 3 half-decent centre-backs, 2 good wing-backs or whatever, because they're not very good full-backs. Let's change the system. Let's do something. Let's change. Not Ange. No, I'll keep playing the same system, play the same way. It's just not sustainable.
It's mental. Look, take for example, Harry Redknapp. Take when Harry Redknapp came in. Now, Mark, I don't know about you. You might disagree with me here. I would say that Harry Redknapp was an entertaining, attacking football manager.
Definitely, yeah.
But Harry Redknapp also organised a defence and had a solid structure in midfield. Like the first thing, if you remember, the first transfer window Redknapp had, he went and got Wilson Palacios. You remember? In midfield and said, right, don't let anyone through. Right? He was buying people like Chorluka, proper defenders. Yeah. And again, it goes to show that to play attacking football doesn't mean you have to be gung-ho. This manager doesn't know how to set a team up. Like, I'm not annoyed that we lost to Liverpool. No. I expect to lose to Liverpool, but 6 goals at home. That's only Wolves have done that this year, by the way. Only Wolves have conceded 6 goals in a game.
But if you look at the game, at no point did I ever think Liverpool's out of first or second gear.
Never.
I thought that I thought they had levels. I thought if they push it, and I'm thinking, well, what's the record score? Is it Man U score against Ipswich or wherever, or Spurs versus Wigan 9? I thought we could be it for double figures here. But the worst thing is, Savva, though, he wouldn't get a sack still. He'd still be there tomorrow.
Mate, do you know what? We've lost 8 of 17. People think this is okay. Sorry. What are we? Are we Crystal? No offense. Are we Crystal Palace? Like, no offense to Crystal Palace, but do you know what? I'll say Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have lost less games than us.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Only 4 teams in the league have lost more games than us, and that is the promoted 3 from last year and Wolves, who have just sacked their manager. At what point do Spurs fans get embarrassed by how bad we are? At what point?
Well, I just don't think they are. I don't think it hurts them like me, you, and other people. I just don't think there's that hurt there. I just think it's just a day out, an entertainment. It's not. For me, it's not that football club. It's not Spurs. It's not. It doesn't have that feel about it. It's just an entertainment. It's a sports complex. It's a multimedia. It's not a football club.
Mate, I've said it before. I feel like we are in a really bad social experiment since Ange's been here. There's no in-game tactics. At what point yesterday does he turn around after 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals and go, we need to shut up shop a little bit here? No, keep going.
Even if, take off Song, put another midfielder in, drop everybody, but nothing. Absolutely
anything.
And we got 2 legs against them. 2 legs. How are we gonna win? They're just absolute. And to be honest, how can you go against Nottingham Forest at the weekend as the underdogs? We are the underdogs against Forest. There's no doubt about it.
Look at this. This comment is mad. It's true, but it's mad. Hang on. Where are we? Look at this. We have lost the same amount of games as Brighton and Fulham put together. That is, like, do you know what? As I said, some stats. I know people hate them, and I can see Ben in the background. I'm going to cook him as soon as he comes on because no offense, Ben. People like you have been so wrong about this manager, so wrong that I'm hoping that you might actually come on and go, you know what, Sav? I'll admit it. I was wrong. None of them can though. They double down on it, Mark. Right?
Oh yeah.
Give him money. I do not want to give this man any money.
Not a pound, not a penny more, not at all.
He is dreadful. Like,
I think if you had the best players in the world, we still wouldn't win. We'd maybe higher up in the league, but we wouldn't be winning stuff, even with the best players in the world. You just can't play this football. As I said, me and you are old enough. This is Ozzy Ardiles on steroids.
Absolutely. This is Ozzy Ardiles on steroids. Mark, absolutely spot on. Ozzy Ardiles on steroids. I remember it back then. It didn't work, and it won't work now because for all the people that say, "Oh, but we're the top goal scorers in the league," but we're 11th. It doesn't mean anything. We could be the top goal scorers in all of world football, but we're 11th. Right? I'll tell you what. Let me bring this table up to show you just how embarrassing Tottenham Hotspur are. Right? I'm genuinely embarrassed of Tottenham. Genuinely embarrassed at the moment, right? Every other fan base can see it other than half of our own fan base. Have a look at this, right? There we go. If you look, so the 4th column in, just for anyone that see, the 4th column in is games lost, right? So you can see Liverpool have lost 1 game. And then you look at the others, 2-2, 4-5, 5-6, 5-4, 4. We've lost 8 games. We've lost 8 games in 17. If we continue that pattern, Mark, that would be, if I'm not wrong, quick maths would tell me that would be 17.5 defeats in the season.
Where's that put us on about 50? Is it 50 points?
At the moment, this points ratio, hang on, 23 in 34, that would be 46. And I think that would put us on about 52 points for the season if we continued this form. And by the way, when I say continue this form, it's been like this for 14 months, Mark. It's been like this for 14 months. Have a look at Newcastle United have lost 5 games. 5.
And we've got Newcastle.
Eddie Howe should be sacked.
5
games they lost.
Oh, would we take Eddie Howe? Absolutely. Every day of the week.
All day.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we've got the worst tactical manager I've ever seen at this football club. I think he is. Last thing I'll say, Mark, and I will let you go because I've got a few people building
No
up.
worries.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me remove that. I truly believe, right, if Ange Postecoglou picked up a team, not when he joined Spurs, not when he joined Spurs and we were 8th, but because of the debacle with Stellini and Mason, if he had joined a team like a Wolves, like a Palace, he would have had them relegated by now.
Oh yeah, I believe that once he's finished with Spurs, he will never ever get another management job again, because it's been exposed. Who on earth would trust their side with these tactics and what's gone on? Nobody certainly in this country would do. He might go back to Japan or Australia. There's no way he'd get another job in this country. Well, maybe Celtic, who were the best team in the league, but other than that, not a chance, mate.
No. Look, Mark, I'm going to let you go. It infuriates me how so many people still think that we're getting better under him. He has taken us so much worse than we ever were. But hey, listen, Mark, I'll speak to you soon, mate. You take care.
You take care, Savva, mate.
See you, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, I'm going to do, I've got 4 people left. I'll do 5 minutes each because then I do need some dinner. Angus.
Big up, bud. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, it's my life. There we go.
Your camera's gone, but never mind. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm all right. Yeah, well rested.
How was your holiday? You enjoy it?
I very much enjoyed it.
You probably needed it as well.
Huh?
You probably needed it as well. I said you probably needed it as well.
What do you want to talk about, Angus?
The news that came out today about my star boy,
Bukayo Saka.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what?
I have no idea. 4 to 6.
4 to 6. Okay.
It was going to happen sooner or later. Because I
yeah,
knew it was going to happen sooner or later. He's done out. He's done. But we don't have a replacement for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, this is going to be a big test for you lot because he has been in really good form this year. He's scored a lot of goals. He's got a lot of assists.
Mm-hmm.
But look, you guys have spent a lot of money in Arteta's era. This is where, again, as I talk about with Ange, as I talk about with any manager, this is where your manager now needs to find something. He needs to find a formula. This is what they're paid to do. I don't know whether that's going to be Nwaneri out there or maybe a Gabriel.
But he said he has a solution, so I need to see what that is.
What do you think it is?
I would not be surprised if he plays Havertz out wide. I would not be surprised. I would not be, because he played there for Leverkusen out wide. He has played there before.
Almost like a false number 7.
Kind of, yeah.
Do you think that this is going to listen? I think Arsenal have been picking up a bit, right? In terms of you had that wobble. I think you've picked up a bit. You're only you're 6 points behind the top. Do you think this is going to derail your season, not having Saka for 6 weeks?
I don't know. And you just need to wait and see.
Where do you think you're going to finish this season?
Either second or third.
Second or third, okay. And if he finishes third, do you sack him?
Yeah, he has to go.
Okay.
I want a trophy though. I want a trophy this season. But if he finishes stars, arrivederci.
Well, what have you got? You've got Newcastle over 2 legs in the League Cup, right?
Yeah.
Are you fancying
Man
yourself
in the FA Cup? Yeah. Yeah. I want you lot. If you get to the final, I want you lot. If.
Mate, I'll be honest. I don't see any way in which we. I don't see how we beat Liverpool over 2 legs. I just don't.
But do you know what? If you did though, it's the most Spursiest thing ever.
Look.
Do you know what I mean?
Over a one-off game, I think Liverpool will go slightly weaker for that. I think yes, but I think Liverpool last night have just seen the blueprint on how to demolish Tottenham Hotspur, and the blueprint is now circulating around the Premier League on how to beat Tottenham. You know, the fact that 8 teams have beat us, I can't. Do you know what? I can almost see us maybe getting a decent result at home. And then the second leg at Anfield, I've got no hope at all. We will be wide open. Fans will go, oh, but it was good. We showed character and fight. But yes.
You do love an excuse, don't you? You do love an excuse.
Yeah, when you say use lot, I'm not one for excuses.
No. I'm not saying you. I'm saying your fans. You do love an excuse.
For sure. Absolutely. For sure. Listen, Angus, I'm going to let you go because I've got a few people to get through, and my Wagamama's has just arrived, so I'm going to eat that.
Sav, have a good Christmas and a New Year, yeah? I'll speak to you soon.
And you and the family, mate. You take care, all right?
You too.
See you later, mate.
Cheers.
Bye. Anthony, you're up. How are we doing, bro? You all right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as all right as any Spurs fan can be at this point. Savva, I'm gonna get straight to the point because I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to waste your time or anybody else's. Let me first say that I am unbelievably Ange out, and I fucking despise the owners with all my heart. So with that said, I want to read you a comment, and I want to get because sometimes when someone is acting so absolutely insane as he is, when you're like, how could he not change the tactics that, when we're 10-0 down in the first 20 minutes and he doesn't change tactics. So there has to be an explanation, right? There has to be something, no matter how convoluted or ridiculous it is, there has to be some, even if it's the most absurd explanation in the world, there has to be some reasoning. So I found this comment. I just want to read this to you. This is not from me. This is a comment. For the people who keep asking why Ange doesn't change, I'll break it down. The approach that with Mourinho and Conte was to try and compete to win the league immediately. Obviously, that strategy failed. Why did it fail? If Spurs are going for it immediately, that requires buying players with at least a few years of professional experience. Problem is, with Spurs' budget at that range, they're not able to compete with the types of players that clubs like City are buying. So instead, Ange is spending that same money on younger players who have a higher ceiling but need time to develop. So we can buy Mickey Van de Ven for 35 mil when but had we waited a few years, he would have been 70 and out of our price range. Same goes for Wilson, Bergvall, Gray, Johnson, etc. Ange's plans is to buy all these young guys, throw them into the fire to develop them as quickly as possible, and then by year 4, or so, they'll have a couple years under their belt and they'll be entering their prime together, having mastered Ange's system together. At that point, as Ange has repeatedly said, you can start buying more experienced players. So instead of 100 million on Bergvall, Gray, and Odegaard, you can do what Arsenal did and spunk it on a player like Declan Rice. That's when you have a team that can compete in any competition every single year for many years to come. If Ange were to change this system to avoid short-term pain today, he'd be tossing away this invaluable time to develop all his young talent into his system. If your complaints are that rather than go through this adversity today, you'd rather just consistently be fighting for top 4, then fine. Ange isn't your manager for you, and you'd be better off with somebody like Nuno. But if you actually want to see Spurs challenging to win the league and Champions League, this is the process you need to go through. I'm almost done. It's unavoidable. If you sack Ange, it's not like you can just hire a different manager and you'll start winning immediately. He'd then need to start building the new manager into his own squad, and would have to do so with guys like Romero and Porro and Van de Ven requesting a transfer. All the players are behind Ange because they know if they stay on this path, they'll accomplish at Spurs something most neutrals don't think is possible. Last few. Just think of how good they'll be once they're more developed. Van de Ven, Bergvall, Johnson, Gray, etc. could all easily be valued at 60 million each. There's no way Levy would ever spend that much to acquire experienced players of that caliber at each position. So Ange bought young and cheap is developing them, and already when everybody is healthy, they can beat any team in the world on their day. Remember, this is it. Remember, it took Arteta 4 years to crack the top 4. This is relatively early in the process, and they're playing every 3 days, and half the fucking squad is injured or suspended. Show patience now, and you'll be rewarded. You can't keep sacking managers over and over again and expect a different result. You sack Ange, and Potter or Gattuso or whoever the fudge they hire will be sacked less than a year later, guaranteed. We can't keep giving up at the first sign of adversity. Give Ange time, you dumb. See you next Tuesdays. So here's what I'm saying. This is not my argument. This is a guy who
wrote that.
No, a guy in response. It was when Chris Callan showed the presser of Ange and stuff like that. Someone wrote that in the comments. So all I did was this. I said, I just want to run that, but it's not me. I didn't write that. I just wanted to. I wanted to put that forward as kind of a question to you in terms of like, let's be real now. Ange is not insane. He's not never managed before. He understands football, to a degree higher than either of us in terms of, he has more access to players and information. You know what I mean? He's coached at these levels before. So there has to be some explanation for why he's doing the crazy things that he's doing. Do you think that this has any legs, that he's been sort of forced? And I'm not apologizing for him. I don't want the manager there. I want him out today. I'm simply saying, do you think that he's been like, Levy has backed him into a corner where he's like, all right, mate, well then fuck it. I'll just get all these kids and, that's the only route I can go, mate. That's who we are. And that's it. Sorry.
No. First of all, I don't think. I mean, first of all, whoever wrote that article, I mean, it's really well written.
It was a comment. It was a comment in the YouTube comment section. That's all.
Whoever wrote that, it's really well written, but it's just a load of waffle, isn't it?
Okay.
If we're going to sit here and talk about, it's this notion again that if you keep players for 4 or 5 years together, that they all grow, they all learn, they all become brilliant. This never happens. Players become unsettled. What will actually happen if you want to go down that route? Not you, but Spurs.
Yeah, I understand.
What happens is the better players get pissed off and go, what are we doing here? And they'll go. Bids will come in for the likes of Van der Ven. Bids will come in for the likes of Kulusevski. Bids will come in for those types of players. And then when they leave,
he predicts that. He says those players will want to walk, but the base of the squad will be young and together. If that makes sense.
Do you know what? The squad can be 17 years of age on average. The squad could be 35 years on average. With these shit tactics, it doesn't matter. My issue with Ange isn't about rebuilds or plans or projects or process, all these buzzwords. My issue is that he's a terrible tactician, like truly terrible tactician. Every fan base sees it other than ours. Like some of us do, but every fan base is like, what are you guys doing? Like it looks like when we play football, it looks like we've gone and got 11 blokes off the street
just met
and
each other.
said, go and play. Just, don't worry. It's like when you chuck a football into 6 or 7 year olds and say, go and play. And they all follow it. They all chase the ball because no one understands tactical shape.
Yep.
This manager,
Agreed.
For me, the amount of times he says, we won't change. Our form has done this. For 14 months, we've been getting worse and worse and worse. And listen, first of all, I don't think he does want the young players. When we're saying like the young players, he doesn't play them. He plays the youngsters when there's loads of injuries. Mm-hmm. Before these injuries, we weren't seeing Archie Gray. We weren't seeing Bergvall. We weren't seeing any youngsters. So again, if this was a youth project and Spurs starting 11 was Alfie Dorrington at centre half, Archie Gray in centre mid with Bergvall and Mikey Moore on the wing, you go, cool, right? Exactly. But we're not doing that. Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yep.
Here we go. Morning from Australia. Love you, Savva. However, you have such a short memory and you're such a great tactical manager. He's proven it everywhere he's been. I mean, I've watched this guy for 18 months at Spurs and he's the worst manager I've ever seen. The worst I've ever seen. He is. Do you know the thing about it, Anthony? The thing that makes me laugh is in my WhatsApp groups that aren't Spurs. I've got Spurs WhatsApp groups, as you can imagine, coming out of my arse. I've got WhatsApp groups. In my WhatsApp groups with my mates that aren't YouTube mates, like my proper mates from school and college and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
The ridicule is just like, it's ridiculous. They're like, how many, what are you going to do today? Play 2 at the back, maybe 1. You're going to go in 9 up front today or 7. Like they're all laughing because no one's done this nonsense before in the league because it doesn't work. He's trying to reinvent a wheel when the wheel was spinning fine. I don't, or as Ben Kaufman says, he's trying to reinvent the wheel whilst removing the nuts and bolts that keep the wheel together. I honestly, I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to the day this manager goes. His press conferences are absolutely useless.
Oh, I agree. God, they're horrible.
His tactics are awful. I can't stand it. Not him as a human.
Yeah, I know.
Not him as a human.
No, him as
I can't stand him as a football manager.
Yeah. Can I ask you one thing though? You do tend to say, look, as much as I hate Levy, this is on Ange. But do you honestly think? And by the way, I'm not sticking up for Ange. I want him gone right now. I'm Ange out, 100%. I'm like Stell. So just with that out of the way, Do you think that Ange truly wanted Dominic Solanke, or do you think that Ange didn't want, say, Gallagher and instead wanted Archie Gray or whatever? In other words, like, do you not think that he has been hamstrung by the bald one, in terms of that, had he gotten, let's say a Gallagher or whatever from Chelsea, I know that was pie in the sky, but, or even a player like him, just a bulldoggy guy that has a few years of prime experience in there at center mid, and also gets, like, not Dominic Solanke, but someone, someone better than that as a striker, and blah blah blah, like a few more, like 3 or 4 better players than what we got, that things would be different, because players do make a difference.
But Anthony, they do. But I'll take it back to everything I've said. Yeah, I'll take it back to everything I've said. I think there's 2 conversations. Has Levy backed anybody to the point where you go, right, we should have a given right to win trophies, look how good the players are? No. Have we got better players than to be 11th in the table, losing 8 games in 17? Yes. Yeah. And that is all down to
Ipswich Town. Yeah. Good point.
Right?
Yeah.
This is all down to tactics.
Agreed.
I'm not sitting here, and this is the response I get whenever I put something out on social media. The response I get is, oh, who's going to come in and win things? Anthony, I'm not even at the point of worrying about winning things. I want a manager that knows how to set out a football team.
Not losing things. Yeah.
I've honestly never seen a manager like it. And I've never seen, I'll say it, half our fan base is so tactically unaware.
Yeah.
Like they don't understand tactics.
Yeah.
I'll ask you this. If we were looking across North London at Arsenal, if we were looking at Chelsea, if we were looking at, I could go on and on, and we looked and we said, they're 11th in the table, right? Look how wide open they play. All the Sky Sports pundits and every pundit on BT and every pundit in the world is mocking them, right? We'd be having a right giggle, wouldn't we? We'd Absolutely. All be going, oh, look how shit they are. This is terrible. When it's Spurs, now get it right. When? What are we waiting for? Yeah. Because Jamie Carragher made a great point yesterday. He said, yeah, with some injuries, there's things you can't do. But you know what? Knowing that you've got those injuries, knowing that you've got an 18-year-old kid at centre half who's actually a centre mid, you adopt your tactics to protect him. Yeah. You adopt your tactics to say, all right, we've not got our 2 centre halves. Let's put 2 men in front of them. Let's get Basuma and Sarr and say, guys, let Maddison, Kulu, and Son, let them go that way. You guys sit in, protect. Nope, not Ange, not who he is. And I've just had enough. It's the first time in 17 years we've been in the bottom half of Christmas. This is the first time in 27 years we've conceded 6 goals at home in a league game. But it don't matter what we say, Anthony. These fans love him. They love him, and he's embarrassing us on the world stage.
It really is bizarre. I guess what I'm doing is I'm searching for a logical explanation to what is absolutely an illogical situation, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to find a strain of, like, look, this is what's really going on, because obviously it looks insane, but there is a sanity and let me explain type of thing. You know what I mean? Like someone to take me through the back door and go, okay, let me explain to you why this is going on. Levy set this whole thing, blah, 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 whatever. So I'm looking for a thread of sanity in a world of insanity, if that makes, because you're right. I've never, I mean, any other manager of Spurs would have been sacked long time ago. And yet this guy seems to get more popular with each loss. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And my friends who are not Spurs fans can't for the life of them understand it. They're like, what's wrong with your fans? How do they not see this? So I agree. I'm trying to explain what's going on and I can't circle the square.
I've given up trying to reason with it. It's as I said, and I will let you go after this because I've got one more caller and then I need to go. But if I could see incremental improvements, if you could see that he was adapting and tactically changing, you go, fair enough. But he doubles down on it. And I just, look, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that this is the